Welcome, everybody, to the Eden Army podcast. We do this little thing every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The house is full over there at kick.com. So if you're not there, I don't know what to tell you. So enjoy this podcast tonight. I know you guys will. No podcast next week. Let me say that again because I'll get hit 35 other times. No podcast next week. Well, I got some family business to take care of. So I'm not going to miss that for the world. Not that you guys aren't family, but you're just not up here with me right now. So we got family business next week. So no podcast next week. All right. I said it 3 times. So that should be good to go. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that happy stuff, especially over here at kick.com/Eden Army. Because we are not monetized on any of the other platforms. So the only income we get are from kick.com. We have a subscriber goal of 35, and we are sitting right now at 27. So once we hit that 35 mark, we're definitely going to give something away. That's what we do, right? So make sure that happens if you would. Hopefully you guys caught me last night over at the Angry American podcast, the Angry Nation, right? He was pimping out Battlefield Birchwood, and I can tell you that sales are going through the roof. So I appreciate all of you guys for that. Oh boy. Oh, speaking of like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff, thank you, Mama Gnome, for your 6 months worth of subscriptions. We appreciate that. Cheese Doodles in the house over there at kick.com. Patrick 7. I know, Patrick, you're a piece of work. So thank you, Mama Gnome, for your 6-month subscription. We appreciate that. Tonight, we're going to be talking about TDS and Tylenol. The Democrats are wondering what started all these attacks on ICE, right? The DOJ indicts Comey. We're going to talk about that. And Hillary Clinton hates white Christian men. Imagine that. What does J.D. Vance think of all this liberal rhetoric? We're going to talk about that and the evils of Christian nationalism, according to the libs. Remember, that's what we're going to hear a lot in the upcoming weeks, especially after the revival that's going on after the Kirk assassination, because we're all banding together under one God, and the libs are going crazy about it. So now they need to demonize us, right? They need to dehumanize us and label us Christian nationalists. So we're going to see that. But the first thing I want to tell you guys is Nazi, please.
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis. Nazi this, Nazi that. You know, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi? Oh my God. Hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there.
So there you go, Nazi, please. So that's we need to take some advice from Mr. Gutfield and turn it around on him, right? Because we were talking in the green room earlier, guys, and we were talking about arguments we have with even some of our liberal relatives. And the first thing they do when they lose an argument, or you're showing a little more intellect than they can comprehend, then they can understand, what's the first thing they do, Paulie?
You are a Nazi.
Nazi, please. Damn, cracker ass cracker. So welcome to the show, guys. Paulie Ham's in the house. Russ, the Wizard of Oz, is in the house. I'm a little bit low energy, but I'm giving it my best.
I tried to gas him up before the show, everybody. I hit him with a story right before the show.
He tried to get me fired up before the show. It worked a little bit. Cheese Doodle has a little story calling us Nazis and proceeding to throw gas at people. That's what gets her.
I'm not seeing the chats over in reach on over here on Restream.
I'm seeing them. Yeah,
they're
popping up nice. Last one was from Bullshite Evening All, and I'm looking at it at 20:05:01.
Well,
so
you're
cool
gonna
stuff.
have to take care of that tonight, then, because I
think I can handle it. So what's been going on this week? Javi's in the house, bullshite. Chrissy's in the house, Cheese Doodle, Patrick 7, Larry Dial. I see Matthew over there said he's working on Battlefield Birchwood tonight. Mama Teresa's in the house. Let me scroll up because it's getting packed. Mama Tooch is in the house. Guy, you guys are blowing it up over there on Kick. Thank you very much. Sandy's over in
YouTube land, I think.
YouTube land, all by her lonesome, probably. That's all right. We love you.
Miss Terry, as always.
Miss Terry, yes. There you go. You got our first spammer for the night, Russ. You can't see that. I gotta. It's what you're telling me is I gotta do that one.
Yeah, you got to do the one on Restream. I got the one on Kick.
All right, let me block. I'm doing double duty here, guys. I gotta ban this toolbox. Done.
I'll be right back. Let's see if that helps.
Okay. Very cool. So there's a lot. Well, first of all, let's talk about, Paulie, what did you do this week? What was your week like with all the buffoonery going on in the world?
I'm lucky enough that, I meet all kinds of people throughout the week, and it's refreshing because you'll see a lot of people are trying to gauge what your views are. But I meet a lot more conservatives than I do liberals. And I meet a lot more people that are upset than they are rejoicing about recent tragedies and things like that.
Yeah, it's and you're going to see that, right? And this is what they're doing now. They're showing their cards, right? They're showing who they actually are. And we got a little bit. We're going to talk about later on. We're going to talk about how much TDS is out there, and we're going to see what's going on TikTok with some of these people, which I don't know how they're not getting. Well, we'll talk about that later. First thing I want to talk about is the attack on the ICE facility in Dallas. It seems to be a copycat type of attack, which was an epic failure. So before all the conspiracy stuff goes on, before all that, listen to me, lone gunman. Just because he killed detainees, it's because he's a knucklehead and he shot into a van he thought only held ICE agents. Okay, so that's why the detainees got shot. So before all of the conspiracy happens, he already said, I worked alone on this. Same MO as the Kirk shooter. So the ideology is the evil behind all this. Do not lose focus on that. Go, Russ.
You're too late. The mainstream media has already gone down that rabbit hole.
Well, I don't worry about mainstream media. If I worried about mainstream media, I wouldn't be doing a podcast every Thursday night. So they can bite me. And we're gonna talk about. Okay. Kelly says he wants to pass his prize on from last night to somebody else that is on. It hasn't got the first Birchwood Burning book on Audible, so we'll see what we can do to make that happen. And I'll just pick a random. I don't know how we're going to do that last minute. We'll figure it out, or we'll do it in a couple of weeks. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So let's get the conspiracy out of the way. This guy was a guy who was militarized by the ideology that's been spewed to him time and time again, and he took it out on what he thought were ICE agents, but he ended up killing the people he was supposed to protect because he's stupid. Period. End. I don't need any. And guys, stop sending me Charlie Kirk videos. You already know my stance on that. I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to look at them anymore. Stop. You know who you are. But anything you guys want to add to that shooting? There's really not too much to add to it, right? I mean, but if you've got a different take on it, please go ahead.
To me, it seemed fairly cut and dry. Yeah, he shot indiscriminately into an ICE van, hoping to kill ICE agents.
Yeah.
Okay? And he killed some of his own vatos.
Right. So
whatever.
Right.
But and I think it's hilarious. But then, kind of a sidebar on that happened again in Texas. I think it was this morning or yesterday. A little league coach took a round in the shoulder from 3 individuals that were shooting at a nearby range or nearby field, but it wasn't targeted. But
Well,
if you
all
look
you
at the
ha-
names of
that's
those
exactly what I
involved,
was going to say. They shot him while he was praying, and look at the 3 names of the suspects, and that will tell you what the motive was behind it. That's right.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying nothing. You make your own assumptions, but
They-
or your own
ex-
draw your own conclusion. But if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
it's a fucking good duck. Stop. It is what it is. Stop making it look like a goose. It's not a goose.
It identifies as a deer.
Exactly. So the Democrats, guys, the Democrats are trying to figure out how do we get to this? Why are people attacking ICE? How do we get to this? We don't understand it. This is the Democrats. Before they try to blame the right, let's listen to them in their own voices.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. This is not the 1930s.
Secret police who are masked, who are intimidating, who are scaring people. These Gestapo-like tactics.
This is Gestapo-like behavior.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
When you compare the old films of the Gestapo grabbing people off the streets of Poland, it does look like a Gestapo operation.
You posted on social media that, quote, ICE is acting like a terrorist force.
ICE agents, they are coming and kidnapping and disappearing people on the streets of the United States.
But this terror campaign of having masked people rolling up in vans. But we also have to talk about the agents themselves that are carrying this out. If you have any decency, quit now. Because just doing what you were told has been the justification for some of the worst horrors and crimes against humanity.
Masked agents of the state in unmarked vehicles are terrorizing communities. They are disappearing people.
One has to assume they're hiding something or they're hiding misbehavior, because otherwise, why would they be wearing masks and denying their identities?
If
something or they're hiding misbehavior, because otherwise, why would they be wearing masks and denying their identities?
If everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks to hide your face?
Not look like America. We are going to require them to show their faces. If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything.
Okay. How did we get here, Russ? How is it possible? Why do people hate ICE agents? Explain it to me.
Yeah, I mean, that last comment that guy, if you're not doing anything wrong, why do you need masks? Okay, so Democrats, if Antifa's not doing anything wrong, why do they need masks?
Yeah, well, I mean, 2020, though, it was COVID, Russ. They had to hide their face. It's weird that they keep on hiding their face, though, even though we realized that COVID was a scam, right?
You know, I went down the rabbit hole with that one today, and they said, one of the things that said, they came out and said, you know, these 4 different not neutral analysts and political experts, are policing experts, said that the reason that the Antifa gets to wear their mask is, you know, protection of them from, you know, being, you know, getting their First Amendment rights infringed. And I said, okay, how many of those 4 sources that you just mentioned have ever had any boots on the ground policing, you know, experience? And the answer was 0. They were all just scholars. And I said, well, that's pretty hypocritical, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you have a ICE agent that is getting doxxed and his family is getting doxxed and he's fearing for the life of it, he understands the inherent risk of his job. But that's not the inherent risk that should be implied upon his wife and kids.
Well, exactly. And they even asked, why do you run around in unmarked vehicles? Well, because you guys have apps that are tracking ICE movements. Okay. Even the shooter used, by the way. And why do you wear masks? Well, like Russ says, because they're doxing them. I mean, just a little bit of intellect, people, just a little bit. And we'll see here in later on that it just doesn't exist. The intellect on the left doesn't exist.
So strong with it.
Yeah, exactly. But what does J.D. Vance have to say about it?
You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
That's what Mr. Vance has to say about it. I love that guy. Hopefully he makes a run. Patrick, you're correct, sir. They are they're morally corrupt. They're smart. I don't want to take that away from them. But the people, the TDSers that you'll see a video of here, that's what I was referring to, those being knuckleheads. Well, that's what Mr. Vance. What do you guys think about J.D. Vance? You think he's handling all of this? You think he's looking presidential? Because now it's obvious that he's starting to step up and get a little more airtime. What do you think, Paulie?
Russ, what's the first thing I said when I logged on? I was watching him on TV, and I was like, God, I love J.D. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's handling. I mean, he's vice president at a very turbulent time in America, and I think he's handling it with all the grace of our future president.
I agree. What do you think, Russ?
I agree as well. I think that if for whatever reason, and I see no reason right now for him not to get the nod in 28. And I think if he picks the right vice president, the 1-2 punch would be absolutely tremendous, even more so than what's going on right now, because they're going to keep trying to finish what Trump may or may not be able to finish by the time 28 rolls around.
So picture this. Picture J.D. Vance and a Widow Kirk ticket for 4 years from now.
Who?
The Charlie Kirk's wife.
Erica?
That's an easy W.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't disagree with that, or either a Vance DeSantis ticket.
Yeah, it could happen. Could happen. What does Patrick say? I find it interesting. I find it interesting how politics has gotten so much more crass. I remember when politicians. Yeah, you're right. And Patrick, it just goes to show how divided we are and how far off the left is, how far off the mark. Look, they are losing in every poll that Rasputin puts on, whether it be for immigration, whether it be for economy, whether it be with foreign affairs. They are not listening to the people. The 2% of the people that they catered to, it's not enough to carry them through the next election. So the midterms are going to be, that'll be the tell, and we'll see what happens after that.
There was 68% walk away from the party after the Kirk shooting and the subsequent memorial and all the aftermath. 68% more people walked away.
Yeah, they did, and that's why now they're starting to try to dehumanize those people, right? So they've lost. Here's what they did: they lost the black and the brown vote, right, already. So now they need to start dehumanizing the white Christian nationalists, right? Because those are going to people that are going to turn out to vote, right? That's what's going to happen. So Hillary Clinton, for example, has this to say about straight white Christians.
We haven't gotten to the more perfect union, and we fought a civil war over part of it. Mm-hmm. And people have been protesting, for hundreds of years that, things were not as they should be, given our ideals and how we should be moving toward them. So I think that's what makes us so special as a country. And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way, but I agree with you, we were on the right trajectory.
So you have to read behind the lines there, right? You have to say we were looking during the Obama and the Biden administration. We were looking to get rid of these people. That's what she's saying. And there were some bumps in the road, she says, but we were on the right path, according to her. So you have to read between the lines when these politicians talk and see what they're really telling you. Any thoughts, Paul?
Well, first off, and I'm not trying to make humor out of any of this, but somebody needs to show Gollum from Lord of the Rings back to her cave. All I hear when she talks is my precious, like she still wants to be president. It's not going to happen. You're not getting the ring. Just go away. And it's funny because, she claims to be Christian. She stayed with a husband that wasn't loyal, and he's a straight white Christian man, but he's such an evil person. But she won't say that. She'll just say, just all the other ones.
And just to add to that, Paul, not to mention what's already been put out with him and the Epstein flights. Okay, not even to mention that. But yeah, you're talking about him and Cigar Girl. I get that too. But good. What's your take on all that, Russ?
Oh, I agree, man. It's just you're absolutely correct. We are in a fight for Christianity, and that woman just needs. I agree with Paulie. That woman needs to go back to where she came. There's a laundry list, and I wish more and more. I wish for term limits.
Exactly. And stop giving airtime to these inconsequential people that did their time. Go away like George Bush did. Just go away. Go away. I'm going to play a little game with you guys. You two are the typical liberal. You, Paul, you're a typical liberal. Russ, you're a typical liberal. I'm going to say some terms. If you think a liberal would like that term, thumbs up. Black power. Russ not following directions. How did you do that? Oh, that thing popped up on your screen. Typical liberal, Russ. Typical liberal. What do they say about black power?
Power. I think they would agree with that.
They would agree with that. Of course, they would. What about let's stop Islamophobia? If you go against the Muslims,
they're saying let's stop Islamophobia, or
let's stop Islamophobia, like going against the Muslims. Okay, now let's play something else. Let's go white power. So black power is all right. White power is horrible. Weird. That's strange to me, right? So Bill Clinton,
coming from the Party of Equality.
Exactly. So in the UN, I didn't pull any clips for this, guys, and it wasn't on the agenda. But during Trump's speech during his UN address, he basically told all the nations that were allowing this immigration to flood their gates, this invasion to come over their borders, that first of all, he said they are going to hell, meaning those nations, and you need to protect your heritage. Oh my God, I thought the world was going to come to an end when he said that. Because if you talk about heritage of anybody else, whether it be African-American heritage or whatever heritage, yes, we need to protect that because they brought so much good to the country. But now you talk about white heritage, Christian values, and then all of a sudden, you friggin' racist, Islamophobe, homophobe, stop. Just stop, right? So this is that's the enigma of the liberals, right? That's the puzzle that somehow is missing something inside of their brains. I don't know.
I went into a deep rabbit hole earlier. People just going on and on about Trump addressing the UN, and they're just unhappy with how he went about it. And then you find out, after the fact that Trump was getting ready to go up a set of escalators, and what do? Kick off the escalators
on purpose.
Yeah,
right? on purpose. And I don't care what they say. The teleprompter was on purpose also. Could you imagine Joe Biden when the teleprompters go off? Me and Cotton was a.
Say hey.
Come on, man. Come on. And that's not hyperbole. Stop.
Well, and you're talking about these different, white power, black power, this and the other, and we talked about earlier the loss of a lot of their voter base on the Democratic side. The LGBT community is divorcing themselves from the TQ plus whatever the hell and
Yeah.
they will very, very well move to the right side of the aisle.
Yeah,
Because
and
Trump was one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Marriages.
Yeah, that he did, and here's the thing: Trump doesn't care if you're a lesbian or you're gay. Doesn't care. What he cares about if you're a trans terrorist, right? That's what he's worried about, right? And that's what even that community is saying. There is something wrong with these people. They're missing a screw somewhere, and they're lopping off their parts. So I don't know. Maybe they lopped that part off. I don't know what's happening to the world. But if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that you're going to hear Christian nationalists the next couple of weeks, if the Kirk thing stays going the way it is, because they have to have an enemy, right? They don't have a plan, so the liberals have to have an enemy. This was a hearing from a while ago.
The single greatest threat to religious liberty in the United States today, and thus our reputation as leaders in the fight for religious liberty to the rest of the world, is Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is a political ideology and cultural framework that seeks to fuse American and Christian identities. Christian nationalism seeks to privilege Christians and Christianity in law and policy. We see what happens when religious nationalism in a country is allowed to flourish and use the power of the state to attempt to force a set of religious beliefs or create only one accepted form of religious belief. To oppose Christian nationalism is not to oppose Christianity. In fact, a growing number of Christians, and I am one of them, feel a religious imperative to stand against Christian nationalism. More than 35,000 Christians have signed their names to a unifying statement of principles at the heart of the Christians Against Christian Nationalism campaign, which includes this language, quote, "Conflating religious authority with political authority is idolatrous and often leads to the oppression of minority and other marginalized groups, as well as the spiritual impoverishment of religion. We must stand up to and speak out against Christian nationalism, especially when it inspires acts of violence and intimidation, including vandalism, bomb threats, arson, hate crimes, and attacks on houses of worship against religious communities at home and abroad," end quote. It's deeply alarming that a member of the U.S. House of Representatives openly identifies as a Christian nationalist. Yet all of us who care about religious freedom should be able to quickly and definitively reject Christian nationalism.
So Patrick, your question right here, which goes, and she is right, but here's the idiocracy behind it. Here is the crux behind what she's saying and what we're seeing in places like Dearborn, Michigan. You know that place, Patrick, right? Where they're allowing Muslims to assert their political authority and intertwine it with religious authority. So that's all right for them. But when you talk about Christians, oh, for the love of God, we can't mix church and state. That's not good, right? Oh, unless you're Muslim, then that's okay. Go, Russ.
No, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm shaking my head, agreeing with you.
Yeah, and that's what this lady was talking about, where she at one point she says there's a number of Christians. These are the same Christians, like the Methodists, right, that think it's all right to have lesbian preachers up there on the pulpit, right? I don't want to get too religious, all right? You guys know where I stand on all this. I'm not going to get too religious when it comes to all this stuff, but you have to dive into that to understand the hypocrisy and how crazy these people truly are. So that's that. So we're going to see a lot of that here in the near future, guys. Paul, anything you want to add to that, young man?
You kind of hit that right on the head.
Yeah. So go ahead, Russ.
No, you nailed it, brother.
That's the term we're going to be seeing here in the near future, especially as numbers start to move toward this revivalist agenda now that's spawned, that's starting to grow from the Charlie Kirk assassination. The more people that start to join TPUSA, the more people that now aren't afraid to get out there and do like Charlie did. You're going to see that the liberals are going to put us in a bullseye and they are going to attack. You're hated, guys. You are hated. Train like it. All right. train like it. So don't forget that. Speaking of training, Russ, we are going to be at the Fallout event coming up in a few weeks. Don't have any training. I don't
Yes,
have any
we will.
training classes going on during that, but there are plenty of heavy hitters there doing a lot of great training. Go take those classes. Anything from Mr. Hightower, take that. Anything from Alan Kay, take those classes. Right, they will increase your virtual. What's that? I can never remember what that Stoker guy says. Your virtual. Your something virtue. Anyway, who cares? Take a lot of damn classes and. But then after that, we're doing this thing in South Carolina called CanCon, and I will be teaching a defensive pistol class apparently, and it's going to be a solid 30 minutes long. So you should be able to be SEAL Team 6 member after 30 minutes of defensive pistol. So I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes for that class, but we'll cram in as much as we can in 30 minutes.
A little more.
Yeah, I don't think I could. It takes me so long to say anything. It's not going to happen in 30 minutes. They're just going to have to suck it up and be there as long as I can. Because they're going to get something out of the class. I don't care if it takes me an hour or 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
But
no, I believe, and I don't know if Corey's in the house or not. I believe they are going to be offering hand testing again. They usually do. Okay, so Susie's going to be there. But there will be some great classes, guys. Take every one you can. T is working on the schedule. And there were, as of last night, there were like 2 or 3 of the family, the 100 gift bags left. There were only a couple left. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, it's 1 per family, not 1 per person.
There you go. So
Paulie,
what's Mama Tooch talking about here since this is public now? You want to explain this to everybody?
So my oldest son is having a baby. I'm going to be a grandpa. I'm going to be pap.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Sucker.
Listen, I still remember when he was this big.
Yeah, it's a blink of an eye, isn't it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. I remember picking you up at the airport when you were 16.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happens like that.
I have the strangest memories. I still all right. New London, the house they had right across from the church.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember playing laser tag in that basement with everybody.
Yep, we had a pile of neighborhood kids, and we had those laser tag rifles and pistols, and we blacked everything out. So you could run full speed and run right into the boiler, and because you're not going to see it. Look, we couldn't afford night vision, right? We were just going at it. Patrick 7 says, "Kid when you were 12." Let's see what else we got. I'm just running through chat, guys, because I'm blowing through the agenda pretty damn quick. Let's see what else. Yeah, Rev. It's a good point you're making right here. And we talk about that Omega Dynamics book and how he basically says, Mr. Walden says the same thing of how Christianity basically has gotten, for lack of a better term, from a Christian man, pussified, and they want to teach about how nice and pleasant Jesus is, but they forget what happens in Revelations, right? Yeah. So that book teaches you the mindset to be a true Christian warrior. That's something to think about. We'll have Mr. Walden on as soon as I can land somewhere. Go, Russ.
Yeah. Before we go on any further, I do want to, since we announced it here first with my book, I'll let everybody know that the Audible is in progress. So it should be out sometime the 1st of November. I think you guys will like his voice. Tiny liked it.
Perfect. So, I did see back, speaking of Audible, I did see back in the chat, Diana, that Kelly's gift is yours, young lady. Get Russ your email address, and I will make sure you get the Audible for Birchwood Burning, the North of Eden, Book 1. How's that sound, Russ? We'll just do it that way. That was Diana. So make
That
sure you
works.
grab her email address, and we'll send her over that information.
Okay, Patrick. Every time you go take a dump, open up the app and take a practice test. That simple.
Yeah, it really is that simple. I did chapter 1 of the general the other day on the toilet, which is probably why. Well, we're not going into that, but I scored like a 98 on it or something, and that was just in one poop session. So there you go. So. Teresa. Teresa back there laughing. Oh Lord,
she's laughing at you guys.
So guys, let's talk about TDS and just how. Let's talk about TDS and just how psychotic these liberals are. Now, you guys know that there was an old tweet way back when the manufacturer of Tylenol says we don't recommend for pregnant women to take acetaminophen while you're pregnant. This doesn't make sense. Don't do it. There could be repercussions. But since Donald Trump and Mr. Kennedy came out and said, look, guys, Tylenol is bad for you. It may cause autism. This is what's happening with the liberals.
"28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It's gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism."
Paul, your take.
Well, so I had this conversation earlier. It's, is that the same woman that's in the hospital now?
Negative. And Patrick just mentioned that. We'll talk about that here in a second.
Then never mind.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the Tylenol Americans alone and let them have their, their way.
And look, if you raise those kids as liberals anyway, being on the spectrum is the least of their problems. That's all I'm going to say there. The being on the spectrum, if you raise them as a psychotic liberal, that's going to be the least of their problems. Russ, got anything to add to that? Mark this on the thing that Russ is silent right now for the first time ever. Mark that down, Paulie.
I thought he froze for a second, but he's moving.
Yeah, he is moving. So we know he didn't go into cardiac arrest. I'm not sure how far. He's probably stuck on the video.
We need the missus to check his life status right now.
Screenshot that.
Put that on his shirt. I can tell when I go to blip out, and I can't do nothing. My face was looking like when he goes to blip.
So, Patrick, there is a story going around that somebody did OD. I researched that today, and I couldn't find anything from a reliable news source that this actually happened. So I didn't include that tonight in the podcast. But I can tell you that I have seen people OD on Tylenol before as a paramedic, and it is nasty, and there's no coming back from it, boys and girls. So people are talking about, you need an antidote. No, your liver's done, and it's done quick. I don't know that there's any validity to that. There might be. But I want to talk about the men in these women's lives. And this is a big fad on TikTok right now, right? All these pregnant women are taking this Tylenol. Where are the men in their lives? Where are the men that say, you're not taking that crap? I mean, do they have beta men? Do they even know who their baby daddy is? Russ, what do you think?
I don't think so. A lot of them, I don't believe they are. And, who was it on there? Jay said, hopefully Trump comes out and says eating poop is bad. I would love to see the liberals have fun with that. And I saw one similar to it today that said, Trump just said showering with your toaster plugged in the shower with you.
Yeah, it is bad. Rumor has it that you could get electrocuted, but that's coming straight from Trump, not us.
Yeah, it's coming straight from Trump, not us. So we'll see how that plays out.
Rev always brings a Native American reference into the into the chat. I didn't know that. What else do we have here? Going through chat. So what do you guys think in chat? I mean, some guy says Trump needs to come out and say that the oxygen is bad and see how many of them try to hold their breath forever. Docs, not docs. I feel like dance. Don't do it, Patrick. You bring too much to the tribe, my friend. Jeff's in the house.
Sandy,
Soy boys wearing skinny jeans. Girls like that nowadays, apparently. I don't know.
Now the 90s are coming back.
No, don't say that. I want the 80s. At least I want the 80s hairdos to come back. But not on girls that had it during the 80s.
I think you just want your 80s hair back.
Yeah, that's a true fact.
Yeah, Pete just wants his hair back from the 80s.
I did get a hairdo done though the other day. Looking spiffy.
You did? Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So and I hadn't read up too much about it. I saw it quickly. Sandy asked, what do you think the deal is with all the admirals and the colonels getting called back for this big
I had
meeting?
somebody else, I think Sandy might have asked me that, or somebody else asked me that earlier. I think that they are not moving fast enough on the DEI removal in the armed services. So I think he's bringing them in and telling them to get their ass together, and this stuff better happen quick. I don't think that there's anything that we need to be worried about from a security standpoint. I mean, unless he's just seeing where their head's at. But I doubt. I mean, look, the Constitution protects us from that kind of stuff, so we don't really need to worry too much about that, right, Jeff? So I think it's more has to do with they're not moving fast enough on physical requirements and DEI stuff, and he wants them to shit or get off the pot or turn in their resignation. That's my opinion on that. You guys hear anything else?
No, I echo that same opinion. I was going to say the same thing. It's accountability.
Yeah, I agree. Cheese Doodle says, not for nothing, back to the Tylenol thing. We could be taking it. We would be taking it at all, or is it just for pregnant women? No. So here's the deal with Tylenol. There was a good thing a doctor put on there because there's so much misinformation going out. Here's what happens. There's a certain I'm not a doctor, guys. I just play one on podcast. But there's a certain enzyme or something that your liver secretes that protects your liver when you're a younger person. Now, babies in utero, inside the mother's body, don't excrete that enzyme, or very little. So if you take it while you're pregnant, the acetaminophen affects them at a greater value. Now, that same thing also gets depleted as you age. So like Russ right now should not take it because he's like 900 years old. So definitely don't take that. So that's the physiology, the patho behind it, right? So I think you guys about that.
Repeat what you just said about me.
I said that a guy that's as young and as spry as you would have no problem taking Tylenol. It's the older people that have problems with it. And Larry pregnant women, and also Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, older people don't secrete that enzyme that protects their liver, or very little amount of it, and it affects their liver worse than it would affect a younger person like Russ's liver. Yeah, this is Melissa. This is a probe. They do it all the time. It's not a big deal. They do that constantly.
That whole area is a common stopover for everybody.
Yeah.
If they're flying across the sea, if they're flying across the ocean, it's a common stopover.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on this because the Democrats right now are threatening to not continue the budget, and they want to shut down the government. Mixed thoughts on this. I would love to see it all shut down. Like during COVID, you will see how many people you really don't need. The problem with that is every time they shut it down for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, they send all these non-essentials home. Then they bring them back and back pay them. So,
they get a paid back.
Exactly. And yeah, you're right. And because why? Because alcohol affects their liver, right? So you have that problem also. Yeah, Patrick, I think they are planning on shutting it down. They want to. Here's the problem. The economy is going so good right now. We're bringing in so much in tariff money that everybody hates to admit. Even the ex-Fed assistant now said tariffs are not affecting the economy the way I thought they would. Being bad, he goes, I need to apologize to the Trump administration because I was wrong. Imagine that. So, yeah, I'm shocked. Guy, just take 2 Tylenol, rub some dirt on it, get back in the fight. Once a week,
Yeah.
Koala says.
200 milligram. Nothing but motion.
Everything is doing so bad. And well, you're right. And here's the deal. Everything's doing so bad in the rest of the world because they've been sucking on America's tit for the last how many decades, right? So now Trump, with his American first agenda, is saying, I don't know if we're still running live on Facebook. We should. You're talking about if we're going to cut it?
Yeah.
No, keep it going. We might as well. Yeah, but the American agenda, the American first agenda right now is taking care of the American people like our government should, like its only job is to do that. And it's throwing aside the needs of these other countries. We're still protecting them. It's not like we're not protecting them. We're still protecting them. The problem is we're not letting them rip us off. Let's see. Russ is frozen, I think. Cool. Oh, there he goes. Well, might as well move on. Let's talk about it. It's the hot topic, Paul. It's the indictment of James Comey, and we're going to let Russ speak on this after this little thing. When I pulled this clip, he had yet to be indicted, and the grand jury they convened the grand jury and they found him guilty or potentially guilty of 2 out of the 3 charges. One of them really baffles me how they didn't get the third one out of it. But let's run this clip, and Russ, you can speak on this.
We're learning an indictment for former FBI Director James Comey could be on the way. David Spunt is here, and he has the details. David?
Well, hi, Will. We are told that DOJ officials have been discussing this for some time. I want to be very clear that former FBI Director James Comey has not been indicted. We're told a grand jury has not voted yet. This, according to a source familiar with the process. The Justice Department is declining to comment in this case altogether, as grand jury information is secretive here in the United States. I will point out the timing on this. Why now? Well, we are told that the statute of limitations for lying to Congress is 5 years, and authorities are looking at bringing a charge relating to Comey's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee on September 30th, 2020. September 30th, 2025 is early next week, so the statute of limitations is running out for a charge to be brought. But a grand jury has not voted at this time. I'm told a grand jury could decide, yes, we want to bring charges. No, we don't want to bring charges in this matter. So we know that there is a grand jury impaneled in the Eastern District of Virginia, but as of now, James Comey has not been indicted or charged with any crime, but it is related per a source, and we've talked to several sources, per a source familiar relating to his testimony. We don't know specifically what will relating to that testimony from September 30th, 2020. We know he was testifying remotely, we assume from his home or his office, as that was in the throes of COVID, but we know it is related to that testimony. Again, waiting to see what a grand jury ultimately decides. Will.
September 30, 2020. We'll have to go back and revisit that testimony to see what could be subjected to perjury charges. Great report. Thank you, David Spunt.
Russ, since you're lagging, I'll take it. So yes, this was pulled earlier today. Since then, the grand jury has convened and they found him guilty out of 2 of the 3 charges. And the reason they pushed this, like that gentleman said on Fox News, is because the statute of limitation was 5 years and they only had a few days to push this through. So yes, he has since been indicted out of 2 of the 3 charges. And before the liberal media, which are already saying that this is a witch hunt. Imagine them saying that's a witch hunt, right? A grand jury saw the evidence. A liberal, for the most part, grand jury saw the evidence and felt that was enough to indict him. So it's not a witch hunt. A witch hunt is when you make stuff up and it doesn't stick, right? And you do that for political reasons. What they did, now that the FBI has been taken over by sane people, they said, let's go back and look at what happened on this crossfire hurricane mumbo jumbo, right? And let's see what crimes were committed, and let's put that out to the public. A grand jury indicted him, not the Orange Man. Russ, can you explain on what 2 of the 3 charges he was indicted on?
Well, he was charged with issuing a false statement to the jury or to Congress, and also obstruction of justice. And what I found weird, I mean, this came out literally about 5:45. A little after 6, the New York Times already started their spin, just like we knew they would. They said that a federal grand jury in Virginia has indicted James Comey in a culmination of President Trump's relentless effort to extract retribution for investigating his 2016 presidential campaign over possible ties to Russia, according to people familiar with it.
Yeah, so let's pretend.
That story was written before
100%.
he was
And
ever
let's
indicted.
pretend this is just retribution. Let's just pretend it is. First of all, retribution that should be had, what they put this man through, right? Things he didn't do, and how many times they convicted him, picking which states to charge him in, picking what cities to charge him in, so they could tip the scales of justice in their favor. Wouldn't that piss you off? And even all the convictions, all the civil suits and all that are all going away now. And it's not because he's the president. It's because they had no validity to begin with. And a sane judge is seeing that. So if it is retribution, good. The only retribution is he's putting their crimes out to the public light.
Well, I'm waiting to see if all of these other mainstream medias get told to shut up and color by the Democrats, because if Comey wants to, and he should to save his ass, if he decides to turn, heads are definitely
agreed.
going to roll. And they don't want that. So I think you're going to see a very quick turn in regards to mainstream media not sprouting this shit. If they continue it, it's going to continue the downfall of the Democratic Party, which I'm okay with.
Let's be honest. Fox right now is destroying every news agency in viewership. They are destroying them. And it's not because, look, they are biased, but what they're biased about is all factual. They're not making things up. They're just saying, yes, look at what they've done to Trump, right? And you decide what you think. So interesting stuff. Thank you, Eric Boy, for your subscription, by the way. We appreciate that. Go ahead, Paul.
I find it interesting that turnabout is in fact not fair play. It's okay when they do it to Trump, but when it comes back, they're like, whoa, this isn't fair. This isn't right.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right, Rev, also that Fox sucks too. I get that, but I could say they are the least of the 3 or 4 evils in the world.
They suck the least.
Yeah.
They suck the least.
And Gutfeld is funny as shit. I don't care what anybody says. He's funnier than him. So Nazi, please. That was
hilarious.
We are not going to do a call-in tonight, but I do want to talk about your preps of the week, guys. So, Russ, did you do any prep of the week, guys? In chat, if you've done any prep of the week, which you should have, tell me what your prep of the week is. Russ, you got anything done this week?
Well, I will tomorrow. I've been a little busy with podcasts and everything, but I believe you and I are going to go hit the range tomorrow morning, and or probably what will be our last time while we're up here, at least together, while we're up here. Maybe next Friday. Well, we won't. Maybe next Friday morning, we might be able to go one more time. But getting the getting the cobwebs out before we travel. Making sure do some little situational awareness drills or something like that while we're out there tomorrow. Come up with
We'll do that, and maybe we'll talk about this defensive pistol class that I'm supposed to put together over there at CanCon. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But yes, I did. I bought some freedom seeds for going out to the range, so I got some of those. Koala Diana says she got some medical supplies up. Patrick Seven said he picked up some PCR 152 refurbished military radios. Those are good radios you have too. And then he's buying some parts and pieces for those. Updated batteries on solar for the camper. Bullshite says, Bullshite, I'm having a problem. Call me tomorrow. It has to do with the Lippert automated leveling system. Rev Group's not getting back to me. I need to pick your brain on that tomorrow, please. Just message me if you would. Terry says she's got some extra freeze-dried food since NutriStore is going out of business. Terry, if you see good deals like that, don't forget to post those kind of deals over on the Eden Army Survival channel, because that's something I didn't know NutriStore was going out of business. So pop that into that channel because that helps the entire tribe, right? Paulie's not into prepping too much, I don't think. But Paul, you need to start, especially with grandbabies coming into this world, it's time to start stockpiling some stuff. Amazon has a lot on sale right now. Terry says, Terry, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag also with Miss Terry. Did I hear this correctly that she had finally published her adult coloring book onto Amazon?
I had not heard that it was actually published yet. I know the children's book was in review, waiting on that. So, Miss Terry, give us an update here over in chat. Yeah, Tom Bryce is doing bourbon preps. I talked to him about that just the other day.
Patrick, you're in that group, I think.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Miss Terry, which one is live? The children's one or the adult one or both?
And put a link in there if you can. Probably not. If not, make sure you put a link on. Terry, you're allowed to put a link on all of my social platforms because you're OG. Original Gangster. That's what my daughter says I am. Original Gangster. I thought it was Old Gangster at first, but then now they're just starting to tell me Old Gangster.
It's that too.
Exactly. That's what I said. Let's see. Free maps.
Both. And the adult went live today. Very good. Congratulations.
So another published author in the tribe. I love that. Good job, Miss Terry.
We'll be having Miss Terry.
Yep. We'll definitely. Yeah, we need to get her on here and get her in front of the camera. Look, I don't like being in front of the camera, but it goes along with this whole book thing, right? Old Gangster is better than being called young ninja.
Yeah. Is it level adult or real adult? That's a good question, Terry.
Tom said he stocked up on bourbon and other stuff for Fallout, from what I understand, or is that supposed to be a secret?
No.
All right. So Mr. Bryce is bringing a lot of stuff to Fallout, guys. So we should be able to let's look at me just giving away Tom's liquor and food, right? We should be able to eat and drink well during Fallout.
Wait, we'll show those renter posts how to eat, drink, and be merry. By God,
Patrick, you better hurry up, my friend. It's coming quicker than you think.
Oh yeah, if you haven't started now, you're behind the power cover.
Just take a bunch of Tylenol and then do a few shots every night. That'll damage your liver enough to hang. Don't do that if you're watching on the socialist social media platforms.
Not that type of adult coloring book there, Ray.
I was going to ask, but I didn't want to throw that out there. I was going to say, define adult coloring book.
I mean, you have to know that. Now, Miss Terry may surprise me, but I can't see Miss Terry making an adult color.
Oh, good. We're going to have so many shirts with Russ's face on it. I can't wait.
I'm going to start collaging them all.
We're going to put a big ass collage. And then we'll date which podcast they were. 9:25, 8:30. No, bring them and throw them on my table. Tell me what you want for them, and I'll pimp them out for you. Do Angry American to do the same thing? So will Russ. You don't need to be signed up if it's too late. Don't worry about it. We will pimp it out.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, bring some.
God damn it! I just got to keep it up on him.
You know, it's scary keeping it straight. I like that.
Oh, goodness gracious. So good. Those are the prep of the weeks, guys. Paul, you know how we do this thing. We've been on for an hour. I thought we were going to run late tonight, but I got kind of happy. I got diarrhea mouth, so I kind of went a little faster than I normally do. Paul, you know the deal. Give us some parting words, my friend.
Well, I have all these pictures of Russ on here. I got to find. There we go. So you guys know I like to do a little quote of the week. This one's from General MacArthur. It's, "No man is entitled to the blessings of freedom unless he be vigilant in its preservation." I think that applies now more than ever. Just let's be vigilant in what we believe in and what we do.
I love it. Thank you, Paul. Russ, you're up, my brother.
Well, if I can go through this without locking up.
Get the screen capture set.
It's already ready.
Go ahead.
Bye.
That's it. We didn't hear nothing. Go. It's done.
All you get.
You should see what Kick looks like right now. Oh my goodness, guys, get trained up. There's people out there. We told you this, right? As soon as the Orange Man got elected, things were going to amp up. Things were going to get a little crazy. I know that we started this podcast to increase our preparedness virtue, right? But if we don't know what's going on in the world, and we're hearing misinformation from everywhere, that's part of being prepared, right? To understand and to get some information that you think might be true from a reliable source. So that's why a lot of these podcasts here recently have been less on the preparedness side, more about situational awareness and what's going on in the world. Because at the end of the day, you got to at least try to be safe. If you can't be safe, well, be dangerous. Thanks for watching the Eden Army podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember,